and welcome to Titanium Taras Tarot, and today I will be doing a how to strengthen your intuition video. Okay, so this is gonna be for anybody who watches this whenever. I'm so used to doing my little spiel at the beginning of videos that I tend to move into this, but anyway, this is for everyone who wants to take part in this. And so yeah, but But if you want me to help you along your way on strengthening your intuition, okay, you can contact me at the email in the box below, where you'll find a little description of this video and my price, okay? And I've completely forgot, which is hilarious because I'm kind of talking about this today. In any case, now with that being said, let's get into your video content. All right. So what I'm talking about today is, of course, your intuition, but another way you can strengthen your intuition, okay, is by creating a habit. Creating it into a habit, or having something you have an expertise in. Now I mean, expertise can be anything. You can have an expertise in cooking. You can have an expertise in listening to people. You can have an expertise in watching TV. I don't know. Whatever you want to make your expertise, you can make it your expertise. Now, what happens is that when you do it so often that it becomes a second nature to you, you kind of notice little details that you wouldn't have noticed if it was something that you do like of a happenstance. It's like, oh, I'm just doing this today, I feel like it. But if you do it continuously along the way, like for example, me doing these videos, okay, so I have this thing. Sometimes the message comes to me beforehand. Like when I write I'm gonna do a certain video with a certain content, the messages come to me, okay? Or sometimes I just have to think about it and it comes to me that way. But that happens only when you've done it a number of times. Like, it's a new habit that you need to learn. And so when you begin to cement a new habit in your brain, because what happens is that you are creating a whole new chain of neurons. Okay, and you're strengthening that neural pathway, okay, the more you do it. And the more you do it, the more you realize things that you didn't notice the first time you did it, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth, whichever, right? So you become more attuned to what you're doing because you're concentrated on that one thing. So you see different sides of it. Now, I am a tarot reader, as are a lot of people, right? And the thing is that tarot is, some people, okay, think that it's just the meaning of the cards. That's fine. You do need to know the meaning of the cards, and at the beginning, that is all that is. But then, you see, tarot reading is what they call subtle energy. You work with subtle energy. Okay, so when you pick a card and you get a feeling of subtle energy, that's when you might get a feeling, or you might get an idea, or the definition might come to you, but in a different light, or you might have a vision, or you might smell something. You know, those are the clairs that I was talking about earlier. And so earlier I think it was in the third video of this series, okay, I talked about the clairs, all right? So there is clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairgustation, or clairgustance, and clairreliance. Okay? Now, those things, the more you practice them, the more you become attuned to them, the more you listen to those little tidbits of information, the more clearer the message becomes, the more detailed the message becomes, the more often you get these things. Okay? That's usually how it works, and that's how you create a habit. You create a habit, a neural pathway, and because subtle energies are like, it's like a habit, it's like a sense, it is your sixth sense. We all have it. It's just that some of us have a more refined way of getting in contact with that sixth sense than others. So all of it is just a question of strengthening your tool. That's all it is. Now, when I started, I had no idea what all this was, and I had no way of knowing. I know that I felt certain things. I know that some things were happening, but I know because I was a little different, people shunned me, people made fun of me, people picked on me. That was fine because that made me stronger, and that made me become the person I am today. But now, so making things stronger. So you're strengthening your neural pathway, okay? And you are trying to do that in the most optimal way for you. Because, you see, in the most optimal way for you, yes, I'm repeating myself, but the thing is that you can do this with anything, okay? The sixth sense is nothing it's nothing special. It's just like any other sense. Just like people who are like wine connoisseurs, they can just smell a glass of wine. They put their nose in the cup and then they smell it. And lo and behold, they'll tell you the list of ingredients in that drink. And there's that. Or people who have like a super refined sense of listening can do the exact same thing. Or same thing with the palate, smell, nose. It's your sixth sense is a muscle you need to work on, and it can be refined. So that is what I think. So if you feel like you want to strengthen your intuition, you can. There are multiple ways, and that's why I'm doing this video series to help you strengthen your intuition. And one of them, the main thing that you need to hear again and again and again, is that it is something that you have to work non-stop on. Now, you have to have it become like something that you want to bring into your life, a new habit you want to create. And with that new habit will come different things that you will understand. So, as I was saying, I am a tarot reader, okay? Just like many of us here, just like Dharma Jane, one of the people I follow. And she is so good. I mean, she can pick off something like in a heartbeat and give you like a rundown. But have you ever noticed how one card can mean one thing 1 minute and then in a different spread it could mean something completely different? How readers generally, okay, tell you that generally I see this card, okay, I pick this card and I know what this means, but in this case, I feel like sense the hint of the cue, like I feel like, because this is subtle energy. It's so subtle, you have to be attuned to it to feel it, right? So I feel like this means this. That is the definition of a good tarot reader or a good person who reads cards because they can dive deeply into the cards. Now, I know someone who is also interested in this, but he just knows the meanings. The thing is that that's good. That's good. But if you don't tap into your sixth sense, well, it's kind of, the messages won't be complete. I mean, you'll get the whole gist of the idea, that is for sure. But the whole message won't be there because you can't tap into that subtle energy. You see? And I feel like that, as I said, can be worked on. So at this moment, like I mentioned before, it's a habit. You have to create, you have to strengthen it. Just like all of those other type of clairs that I talked about, the people who can smell all the whole bunch of like aromas in a glass of wine, who have sharpened their nose so much that they can taste the hint of something, that is the exact same thing as your intuition. Just because theirs has a title and is widely accepted does not mean that yours is any less important. Like, what we do is as important, because we can sense shit coming from a mile away, and we can be like, you stay away from me. Okay, so I mean, there is a use to all that we do. And I mean, this is not just helpful for subtle energies, but the idea that was coming to my mind beforehand was that if none of you are knowing of this, well, I will say this. I was hit by a car at age 19. I was in the intensive care unit for many months in a induced coma that was put on, that I was forced into by doctors because they were afraid that if I woke up from being in shock, I would die from all the pain that my body was in. Okay? And when I got out of that coma, okay, when they basically lessened what they were giving me to keep me under, when I got out of it, I was back at the mental age of 3. Yes. And that meant that I had to relearn everything from A to Z. Now, that's when you go into rehabilitation and all that stuff, which is normal, right? Yes, that is normal. But now I got back to my normal self, which is great. Which meant that I can not fend for myself, which meant that I could brush my teeth, wash myself, go to the bathroom by myself, comb my hair, brush my hair, whatever, right? Put on my own clothes. I didn't need any help to do normal stuff that normal people can do. That's great. I can talk, I could read, I can think, I could go back to school, which I did, which was good, okay? So, but the most crucial things, crucial for a human being, at least from my perspective, what was crucial to me was social interaction. And what happened during my accident, what happened during my coma, 1 minute. God dang it. You're gonna learn, yeah. Okay, there we have it. Okay. I look like an elf. Okay, so one of the things that I was never very good at even before my accident, was my social interactions. I was not fun to be around. I was actually, I was not really a prude, but I was kind of stuck up. I was full of myself and all that wonderful stuff, right? not something you want other people to remember you by, but that was the case. And so what happened when I was hit by that car, and then I was in that coma for such a long time. When I woke up, it was like the social sieve that I had learned throughout the years had disappeared. It was like it was no longer there. And because of that, I had to relearn my social sieve. I had to replace the social sieve, which meant that I needed to force myself to change, to transform, to transcend the state I was in. And now it took some time to do. It took a lot of effort, a lot of mistakes, a lot of social situations where I made myself look like not made myself, but where I looked like a fool because I was making mistake after mistake after mistake, but that's how you learn, right? So, because I put myself into those situations and I made myself expand and grow. I don't know if you know this, but shellfish or like crabs, okay? When they grow big enough that they don't feel comfortable in their shell because their shell is too small for their body. Because don't forget, crabs have exoskeletons. I feel like I've said this before, but crabs have exoskeletons, okay? Yes. And so when they start feeling uncomfortable, what they do is they go under a rock, not a rug, a rock, and they shed their exoskeleton, all right? In order to grow a new one. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. All right? And then they get out of from underneath that rock and they're like, yay, I can live in my new exoskeleton now, yay, right? I don't know if they do exactly that, but you know what I mean. So, basically, all right, we as human beings do not have that, because when we grow, okay, when our skin is expandable, it grows with us, right? Now we also shed our skin, right? We have dead skin cells that come off every so often. That's normal, but we don't have something that boxes us in when we don't grow enough. Like the crab, we don't have anything that boxes us when we grow, because our bones, our skeleton is inside our body. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? But in any case, basically what I'm trying to get at is that, okay, I'm talking about exoskeleton and the fact that crabs can like let the old go, but we can't. Well, I mean, we can if we're thinking about the way we think and the way we learn new habits. We can do that. It can be done. It's like, okay, now I get it. The way we create our new neural pathways to have a better life experience, okay, is like the crab that is growing a whole new exoskeleton because their body is too big for the old one. So what do? They go underneath a rock. Well, I guess they go underneath a rock to grow a new exoskeleton so that the first like predator doesn't like eat them up, right? Because crabs are like soft. If you need to crack open their shell in order to eat them. That wasn't weird at all. Okay. So now we are human beings and we are talking about our sixth sense, and we are talking about how do we strengthen it. Well, how do you strengthen it is, number one, you let go of the old habit. You try to kill the old habit off, just like the crab kills off its own exoskeleton so that it can grow a new one, right? So we need to, oh my god, I can't believe this was so like intertwined. There you go. There you have it. Okay. So basically, that whole like explanation of how do you strengthen your intuition is that you let go of the old. I'm going to write this out. Letting go of the old. Old to make room for the new. Bold, underlined, colorful. All right, so if you want to strengthen your intuition, okay, number one is you need to let go of the old shit that was not working for you so that you can then, so that you have to let go of the old so that you can bring the new in. But the new, the reason why I was talking about habits is that it's going to take some time, right? It is going to take some time because it's not, your brain doesn't like things to change, okay? So if you want to change something, you are going to have to work extremely hard. It's going to be a new habit and it's going to take some effort and some effort, a lot of time to do. And I can talk from experience because what happens when you are in, when I talked about me being in a car accident, I was in a car accident, okay? Not only were a lot of bones broken, I got internal bleeding and all that fun stuff, but I also had a TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury. Now, a traumatic brain injury is a bruise on your brain. And the difference between a bruise on your body and a bruise on your brain is that the bruise on your brain, on your body heals and goes away. The bruise on your brain stays forevermore. Well, until while you are living. Okay. So I still have that bruise on my brain. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's there. So one of my big things was that I became impulsive. And so it was one of the hardest things I did in order to become normal again, to gain composure, to gain capacity to control my impulsivity. My impulsiveness needed to be tamed. Yes, because I lost a couple of friends because of my impulsiveness. And well, first I needed to decide, yes, I want to change this. First comes a decision. You decide that you want to change it. Then once you made the decision, you have to stick behind your decision, which is excessively hard. And so, but this is not just for any other thing, right? This also comes back to, like, you can bring this back to tarot. You can bring it back to your intuition. You can bring it back to, like, all these things. Whatever you decide to do that's different, that's new for you, is going to deal with a lot of resistance from your brain, because your brain likes normal, likes habit, likes what it's used to. Why am I going to put myself in a difficult situation to learn something new that is going to demand a ton of effort from me? Right? Why? Because it's to make you better. Okay? I mean, we are here on this plane to learn and grow as souls so that we remember who we actually are, which is energetic beings living a human experience. And that is so that we can grow as souls. But you can only grow as souls if you put yourself in situations that will make you feel uncomfortable. Okay? Oh my gosh. I can't believe all this. I did not see the connection with what I was talking about at the beginning till now. That is part of my intuition. I did not know why I was talking about that, but I was talking about it, and then the connection created itself. Ta-da! So, all this to say that if you follow your intuition, even though you don't know, you don't have a clue of why it's telling you to talk of this, or it's telling you, nudging you to go that way, or it's nudging you to go this way, or to talk about that, or I don't know, like you might have an idea from something that happened in your childhood and you don't know why, but your intuition's like, no, talk of this, and you're like, okay, I'll talk of it, and then you talk of it, talk, and then it just comes out, right? It comes out. See, like, I'm sure a lot of people do this. Like, sometimes some people have clairaudience, which means they'll hear things. They'll hear a song, like a song will come up. Sometimes, for example, I had this song stuck in my head a couple of weeks ago. I did not know why. But like a week later, I was like, oh my God. Now I get it, because it was telling me that this is coming. This is on its way. Basically, clairaudience is one of the parts of, is a part of your intuition as well. You know, you need to, these things happen, but through experience. So if you are in like not knowing why this is coming up, well, there is definitely a reason. Okay, I mean, this is not just for the sixth sense. This is also for people who are in business, who are in so many other things. Like for me, okay, when I was working on breaking my impulsive habit, all right, one of the things that were suggested to me was to keep a journal, which is the thing that I did in university, which was to keep a journal and every single week it's like a whole new chapter added onto it. Okay, so first it was just describing the initial situation. Second week, or around that, whatever. Second phase, okay. First phase was just writing what happened. Second phase was writing what happened and what caused it. Third week was what happened, what caused it, and what was the caused it, and what I can do better next time. Fourth week was something else. I can't remember exactly what, but every single time there's something that adds itself, because you are now more in tune with what you are studying, which is your habit that you are trying to break. I mean, you don't have to be that crazy about it, but I mean, if you want to seriously change something and you don't understand how it's happening, that is the way to do it. Which is first understand the thing that happened, what caused it, how to fix it, and then how to avoid it. What do you need to do? Okay, so yes, how to fix it and how to avoid it are two very important things. But it's like there's stages. Okay? So all this, okay, to strengthen your intuition, you need to work on it. Just like anything else you want to bring into your experience, you need to work on it. And that is all that I have for you guys this week, okay? If you like this and if you'd like me to go deeper into your specific situation, please contact me at the email in the box below, and it'll be my pleasure to help. In that same box, you'll find a little description of this video and my... Why am I saying this? I said this at the beginning. Now, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click on the notification bell to be notified when I post videos like this. Alright? And leave me a comment, because I adore them comments. I read them all. I might not answer all of them, but I absolutely read them all. And if you guys want me to talk of something specific, okay, just leave it in the box below, because I remember at some point I tried to do this with interpersonal communication. It did not work because I was just pulling ideas out of my head and people were like, well, I mean, this is fun, but I don't know if it was letting them know of anything or if it was teaching them something, but it flopped. So let me cater to you guys, because you are my listeners. So with that being said, my gorgeous listeners, I wish you guys all a very good week, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye.